as an offense, as a team, we've been in that situation, multiple times, and, we've answered the bell, and just, it's tough when, that one time, you didn't. So, but that's what people remember. It's the world we live in, and you just got to own up to it and, be a man about it. And so it'll, like I said before, it'll fuel us in this offseason, fuel me especially in this offseason, just to, come back better.
Jimmy Garoppolo, 49ers quarterback, at his locker yesterday. Locker clean-out day, the ritual for every team when the season is finally over. You meet with the media, you say a few things, and, he knows what happened. He knows what went wrong, and they did answer the bell from time to time throughout the season. But, that was the question I had all year long.
That's right.
What's he going to do in a big spot?
Yeah.
And we finally saw the biggest possible spot. It was 3rd and 10 from the 49 with exactly 100 seconds left in the NFL's 100th season. Emmanuel Sanders was open, and he missed him.
Yeah.
And other guys would have made that throw. And to me, it's the ultimate litmus test. Championship throw, just like Jared Goff last year when he had Brandon Cooks wide open, saw him late, threw it wobbly. Jason McCourty came over and made the play to keep Cooks from catching it. That's the test. And we've seen over the years guys make the throw. Terry Bradshaw making the throws in Super Bowl 10. The cover of Sports Illustrated that I tweeted earlier today from Super Bowl 14. The throw to John Stallworth when the Steelers were down in Super Bowl 14 to the Rams. Right over the outstretched fingertips of the defensive back. That's what you do in those moments, or you don't. It's pass-fail. Some have passed, some have failed. And Garoppolo, until he gets another chance to pass on his permanent record, the most recent grade is F, Chris.
Yeah, well, listen, I don't want to say F, but I understand what you're saying.
It's pass-fail. If you don't pass, what do you do?
Well, okay, I get it. Okay, so first off, I really respect Jimmy G, one, for the way he's handled this whole situation. I mean, the post-game press conference, what we saw yesterday at his locker, all of those things. I mean, he's not shying away from it. He tells you, just like we saw in that clip, he gets it. He understands the criticism. You got to be a man about it. Go forward. I love all those answers. I really do. He's a guy, again, that I think is very easy to root for. Now, where I think we get a little swayed with this whole conversation. First off, balls being thrown in the air for 40-plus yards, the completion percentage is not very high. It's not. Around the league, it's around 40%, the lower 40%. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I believe, for the year on 40-plus yard throws in the air was 6 for 15. Now, that's the other problem with this, is we saw Mahomes deliver on all these throws at the end of the football game, and then we're trying to hold Jimmy Garoppolo to that standard too. Hey, Jimmy Garoppolo is not Patrick Mahomes. He ain't ever going to be. Patrick Mahomes, like I said yesterday, is in another stratosphere. He's in outer space, and Garoppolo's down here in the United States, right? I mean, that's where he is. That's just a simple fact of the matter. Mahomes, Terry Bradshaw, yeah, those are like super, super talented guys. Bradshaw was the number 1 pick of the draft. Mahomes, as we know, was the number 1 player on some boards. Sean Payton, we know, fancied him. A bunch of other people did too. He's a special, special talent. So it's not even fair to Mahomes or Garoppolo to compare those two. That's
Tom Brady was picked number 199.
I get it. I get it.
There's plenty of guys who can make that throw. I just picked out Terry Bradshaw because I remember those throws from my childhood. There are plenty of quarterbacks who have made big-time throws in big-time spots with championships on the line, and Garoppolo had a chance to become one of them, and he didn't.
I know. But yet you say that, and I get it, and I go, yeah, but like, okay. Like, you name 2 in history of the Super Bowl. Like, there's not that many where the team is down by 4 and the guy throws the bomb to win the game. There's not that many. And then I don't like Garoppolo and Shanahan, they're not good in the big game. I don't like.
I didn't say Shanahan.
No, I know.
I'm talking about Garoppolo.
I know, but because people have said that to me too. I go and do radio interviews and they talk about that, and I just want to go, well, I mean, damn, I thought the NFC Championship was a big game last time I checked. I mean, that was big. Week 17 in Seattle was big. The game in New Orleans was big. I know it's not the Super Bowl, but they were still big moments where he came through. And I'm just trying to add a little bit of, I guess, what, to me, my reality of what I see here. And I think there was some good. Yes, it didn't end the way we wanted it to end, but I think it was more because of the magic of the guy number 15 wearing red and yellow than anything more about me looking at his negatives. And Garoppolo didn't play his best game. I get that. He missed some passes and made a few bad decisions down the stretch.
He did have some good moments, though, and we have the top 5 Jimmy G highlights from 2019. His first full season as a starter. He had been starter for part of 2016, part of 2017, part of 2018, 2019 wire to wire. Let's take a look at the top highlights, and we will talk through them as best we can for the radio audience. Number 5 happened in Week 12 on a Sunday night. Green Bay was in town. It was 23-8 at that point. The Packers had scored a touchdown, and the okey doke with Kittle going right instead of left, and Jimmy G finds him wide open. Kittle scores the touchdown, supplies the dagger. Next one, game-winning touchdown pass against Arizona. A close, exciting game. And, throw was a little high, a little behind, but he got it there and he got it done.
Touchdown, Jimmy Garoppolo.
It was. Week 17, how about this? He had to wait for a little bit. Could have scored if he'd hit him in stride. I'm just trying to be a jerk.
You are a jerk. Don't worry. Don't
this
try.
This one's on target. It was a 5-yard pass to Debo. And look, hey, Jimmy Garoppolo had his moments. Here's one, 3rd and 16. Remember this Saturday night game against the Rams? 2 3rd and 16s on the same drive.
Right.
He gets Kendrick Bourne the first time, and then he's got Emmanuel Sanders. This was a thing of beauty.
It was.
He is capable of doing it.
He is.
And look here. Hey, things break down. He's got to move to his left against the Saints in that epic. Finds a guy in the back of the end zone. It was a 4th down throw to and then here's the 4th down throw to George Kittle. Boom. Right. This was the game decider. So
clutch moment.
He can do it.
He can do it. Right.
He can do it, but he didn't do it in the Super Bowl.
No, he didn't do it in the Super Bowl, and I'm not trying to get an excuse, but that's what I want to hear, though. He can do it, and I think that's ultimately what Kyle Shanahan will go back to and go, I think this guy can do it. He came through it a lot of times for that football team this year. Yeah, it wasn't his best performance in the Super Bowl. It wasn't. Yeah, he missed a few throws. And, hey, I think that's an area of the game, to you open the segment and you mentioned it. We questioned all year in a big moment or when the run game of the 49ers is not hitting on all cylinders. Can Garoppolo pull them through? More times than not he did during the year. The Super Bowl, he let them down to a degree. I know that. But that's what's amazing to me about football. At football, especially the NFL, at some point, and usually the playoffs, your greatest weakness is going to come to the forefront, and it's going to be, okay, this is your greatest weakness, and the game's being boiled down to it right now. Let's see how much you've improved on that weakness as the year went on, and can that get you over the hump? Like, every team always kind of seems to play their kryptonite and whether they can handle it. And, Kansas City, one of their strengths was their nickel and 3rd down defense all year long. One of the weaknesses of the 49ers was, yes, the drop back pass game and maybe some of the inconsistencies throughout the year with the Jimmy Garoppolo questions. And it came to a head in the biggest moment. And, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs and their defense and nickel defense prevailed.
He talked yesterday about using what happened in the Super Bowl as fuel to get better. Where would you tell him he needs to improve going into 2020?
I've said this a lot during the year, and his deep ball throwing is average. And they don't throw the ball deep a lot in general to begin with. That's another thing. I think he threw one of the least amount of 40-plus yards passes in football this year. He was towards the bottom of the list on those attempts. And, yes, his mechanics are not great that way. Mike, think about the game the other night. Every throw we saw was right in between the numbers, right over the middle of the field, right? You heard me say that. Only throws I can think of that were not right down the middle, somewhere in the 5 to 12-yard range, were the Kittle offensive pass interference play and the deep post to Emmanuel Sanders. Everything else was, Kittle over the middle, Debo Samuel over the middle, Emmanuel Sanders.
There was one other.
What was it?
The 3rd and 5 play when he was freaked out about throwing over the middle again because Chris Jones had batted down the 2nd and 5
And the guy was open over the middle again. That was, we showed that yesterday, right? Kittle was open. You're right. So there's 3 throws. That just tells you, 1, I don't think he's great at it. 2, I think Shanahan probably realizes it. And 3, that's somewhere where I do think he can improve in his career here.
How about this?
Yeah.
Let's set aside #Tommy picking up the phone and calling Kyle and saying, I'd like to play for you in 2020.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins' contract goes through the 2020 season.
Yeah.
And they can't use the transition tag on him next year. That's part of the contract. They won't use the franchise tag because since he was tagged twice in Washington, he'd be entitled to a 44% raise over his cap number for this year. His cap number is $31 million. A 44% raise, I've already done the math, $44.64 million is what his one-year franchise tender would be in 2021. The Vikings aren't going to do that. So unless they extend Kirk Cousins before next March,
I know.
Kirk and
Right.
Kyle
Right.
can get together. So
Okay.
maybe you
I'll
give
have
Jimmy
fun with
one
you.
more year.
Yeah.
Maybe you give him one more year.
Right.
And this is it, and it's going to loom over the whole season, because if Jimmy doesn't get it done this year, bye-bye Jimmy next year. Hello, Kirk.
I'll entertain this conversation. I like this a little bit more. This is a little more realistic than Tommy calling up Kyle and like that whole thing. I like this one. I think there's some realness to it. You're right. Like, what if Minnesota misses out on the playoffs, or maybe gets in the wild card game and loses, and the 49ers don't get in next year? What if they're 9-7 or 8-8? And they kind of have a fall-off year, Super Bowl loss hangover.
No. Look, we'll know before then.
But you're right.
The
I'm
Vikings
just
are
saying,
either going to extend him or they're not. It doesn't matter what happens with the Vikings season.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. He can walk away. He can go wherever he wants. He's Tom Brady next year. He can go anywhere he wants.
I know. I'm just saying that would be like, yes, let's just say the Vikings get there and have a good year or whatever. Maybe they go to the playoffs. Maybe they just miss out. The 49ers miss out. I'm with you. Is what I'm saying is I think Shanahan would think about that. Like, okay, maybe Jimmy G's not the guy. I still love Kirk Cousins and think he can come in here and orchestrate and run my offense better than a Jimmy G. And I would think Kirk Cousins – I think he realizes the greatness of Shanahan at this point. I think he's realized, like, damn, playing quarterback for him was easier than anybody else I played with. People were wide open all the time. We just talked about Jimmy Garoppolo threw the ball over the middle to wide open guys all year long. That I could see happening, Mike.
He talked about it last week with us.
He did, right?
About when he was a rookie.
I was saying
the first game of his rookie year.
Right.
First, who cares if it was off camera?
Yeah.
First game of his rookie year.
Right.
Robert Griffin III, rookie quarterback. Kirk Cousins, 4th-round rookie backup, and they destroyed the Saints.
Right.
And he said he commented
He called
to a
his
teammate,
dad, right? No, he called his dad.
Holy crap! Yeah. He said to somebody, "Holy crap! This Kyle Shanahan knows what he's doing."
Right. He couldn't get over it. He just thought, like, oh my gosh, the game went on, and they just, they were a well-oiled machine, and people were open everywhere. And yeah, that's where, I constantly hear this from players who play for Kyle. Receivers and quarterbacks, they just go, man, I've never seen anything like it. He always gets me open. He knows how to get me the ball. I mean, it's the one thing over and over you hear about Shanahan from players that play with him, because he gives you rhyme and reason to why he's running schemes and plays, and you start to understand, whoa, that's smart. That's next level thinking. And it, makes you buy in, makes you want to play, because you're going to get the ball, get stats, and it's going to be exciting football.
I always root for a great story, and wouldn't it be a great story if Tom Brady was the quarterback in San Francisco? They trade for Odell Beckham Jr., who they almost traded for last year. And then when he emerges from his suspension, Antonio Brown joins the party
insane.
in Santa Clara.
It's 4 days after
Would
the
that
Super
not
Bowl.
Be great.
Yeah, it's 4 days after the Super Bowl, and you're already going down to mid-May Florio theories here.
We got to stir, man. We got to talk about this stuff. That's our job. Our job is to get people thinking and talking about the possibilities. And the possibilities this year are endless. And I am not ruling out the possibility that Tom Brady is going to pick up that phone and he's going to say, "Hello, Kyle. This is Tom. Let's do some business together. And if it works, I'll get your initials tattooed on my leg."
You're
How about
hilarious.
that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.